welcome to I Play Dead channel. This is my first lesson tutorial. I had some requests to supply some content like this, so thanks so much. And so I decided to put this together and talk about my approach to what I've been working on, and hopefully that will be beneficial to some of you out there. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button, and in case I do more of these in the future. So essentially, the overview of this is just my approach has been to think about chords and playing the chords, chord tones, and connecting chord shapes using the cage system, as opposed to thinking about what scale I can play over any given kind of track, song, or backing track. So that's the idea, and that's what I kind of just like to go over with you today. All right, so the first thing I'd like to just assume that you've kind of gone over the cage system. If you're not familiar with that system, I would look up some videos. There's been tons of great videos that explain it really well. I'll put a couple of my favorite in the link below so you can look that up. But ultimately, let's assume that you're familiar with the cage system, and let's take the shape of the A. Let's take the chord A. So here's your A chord that everybody usually knows or plays when they're strumming along. Then if you take it from here, and you're up here, and you're up here, and you're here, and then you're back here, which is the same chord. So what I would start doing, or what I start to do, is just target the root note. Like to take that chord and go, where's my root note? Well, here's open A. Here's the octave. There's the A. Here's the octave up here. This is the top end of this chord. There's your root note there. There's your root note here. Here's your root note here. Here's your root note here in this D shape. There's your root note there. Here's your root note there. Here's your root note there. So first, I would just take one chord, go through all the shapes in the cage system, and identify the root note. It's the main thing. That is the first exercise. Okay, so after you get yourself familiar with that and doing that through picking any chord there is and just kind of like targeting your root note, next we're going to look at the third. Without getting too into kind of, the theory behind all of this, the third plays a very, very important role, whether the chord is major or minor. Regular third from the root is major. Flat third is going to be minor. In this case, we're going to take the A chord again. We know our root note is here. We know our root note is here. So we're just going to find the third. The third is right below it on the A. So if we're here, here's our root. Here's the third. If we're playing this bar chord, here's our root. Here's the third. You'll see that's the octave. Here's our root. It's just one back below, and there's your third. If it was a scale, it'd be 1, 2, 3. So now you have your octave here, that's your root. Here's your third. Right below it, here's your octave. Here's the third again. Again, that's the octave above. Root, third. 3, 1. 3, 1. 3, 1. Okay? Now we're here. In this shape, here's your root, here's your third. You'll notice it's the same shape. Same shape here, same shape here, same shape here, same shape here. They're just repeating notes, same two notes repeating in different places on the neck. If you're anchoring that to the cage system, you have your little chordal universe where you're like, oh, here's my root, there's my third. Here's my root, there's my third. Here's my root, there's my third. So here we are on this shape. There's your third. We know this is your octave. This is the A octave. Here's the third right above it. Same as it was down here. Okay, so now we've used the cage system with the chord of A to target the root note. We've targeted the third right below it. Now let's target the fifth. If we take the A chord again here, we know that our root is here, the third is above, straight above it, and where's our fifth? It's actually going to be right below it here on this shape. A good way to look at that is from this shape. If you play your A here, we have our 1, we have our 3, as we know below, and then we have our 5, right stacked below it. If we go in this way, 1, 3, 5, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the scale. So you'll see that there. So here is our root note. We know that's our third. And then here's our fifth. Same shape. Same notes, octave above. But notice the shape. There's your fifth. Here's your third. So let's take this shape. Here's the root. Here's your third. So where's the 5 going to be? I'm going to assume it's below, right here, because we just did it here. There's your fifth from there. 3, 5. Sorry, 3, 1, 5. Okay? That's in this shape. So if we take it from here, similar to the shape that we have here, we have the 1, the 3, and then the 5. Same as down here. Notice the shape. Repeating shapes. Okay? So we want to target the 1, the 3, and the 5. Okay, so now, without thinking too much past the 3 and the 5 and their function in music theory, just counting the notes up the scale to 3 or the 5, targeting them, using the chords in the cage system. In this instance, we're using the chord of A. I'm going to talk about just a quick little trick that I like to do. Basically, it's sliding into the third, sliding into the fifth, and sliding into the root note. We've targeted the root note, we've targeted the third, and we've targeted the fifth. So if you take let's take your egg shape here. We know this is your third. We know this is the root. We know this is the third. So you can slide into the third. 1 fret below, slide up into the third, which in this case would be the minor to the major, which you can hear, everyone's ear can hear that. Here it would be same thing, octave above. Right? If that was a chord, it'd be minor, major. Anyway, you're sliding in. That's not really necessary. Just thinking about being able to slide 1/2 fret, 1 fret below into the note is the trick. So you can do that on the fifth too. Slide in. Here's your root. Here's your 5. We know that. Slide right in. Slide into that. Slide into the third. Slide into the 1. Okay? So if you now look at these chords in little places to play, like if we're playing this chord and we're targeting the root note, the 3 and the 5, and now we're adding our little slide into trick, we can have licks where if we were just doing a 5-3-1, nice little, you can your ear hears that pretty regularly. But if we slide into the 5 and the 3, into the 5, 3, and the 1, we have a little flavor to it. I would target the 3 into the root is the main thing. Slide up 1/2 fret into the third, resolve to the root, go through that chord in the cage system shapes, and you've suddenly got your slide into 3, you're getting little lick notes. But anyway, 1/2 step into the 5, 1/2 step into the 3, 1/2 step slide into the root, and you add some flavor. All right, so we just talked about sliding into the 3 and sliding into the 5. Now let's take it a little bit further, because you can actually walk up into the root, you can walk down into the root, you could walk up into the 3, you could walk up into the 5, you can walk down into the 3. So this is basically a way to connect all the shapes. If you're targeting your root note when you're playing, like if we're playing in the key of A and you're soloing in the key of A, if you're thinking about the chord, so you're playing an A chord, you're thinking about the root note now. If you were just soloing, you could just hit the A and you'd be playing something, you'd be in key. Now if we do a slide in with the 3, nothing really going on there, but it's got a little something happening. So if you want to look at it this way, take your root note here. We know we can slide into the 3. If we walk up from the 2nd, you can actually walk up to the 3. So root, so I'm just walking up to the 3, walking back to the 1. Okay, let's do that from the 3 and walk up to the 5. And we did that little slide in on the root. Let's walk up to the root. So I'm just coming down, and then sliding in. So you can walk down from the 5. So if you look at that shape, right? If we're in this chord, we have the root note here. Here's your 3rd. Here's your 5. We know that. We know we can slide into the 3. We can slide into the 5. There's only a couple notes left there. So we're walking down chromatically to the 3. Pretty much all of these notes. Here's your root. You now know we have all of these notes to choose from. And we're walking down from the 3. So those are all available notes. So if we have them here, we have them here. Okay? Right? I'm just playing all the notes, resolving on the root. Right? Okay, so if you kind of now have all of those options, the main thing is focusing on resolving to the root. So if we're playing in A, and I know I have the 3rd, I know I have the 5th, I can start making some lines. Right? But we're doing a little walk, we're doing a half-step trick and chromaticism. Right? We're just walking down. That's got a little flavor to it. So thinking about it like that, if we're just playing around, if I was playing around this shape, so I'm just basically playing around the chord shape here, just using the chord notes. Right? Because I know I have... We've got all these. We've got all these options. So if I always know, here's where I'm landing, I could just mess around. Right? 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 I'm just going to hit the octave. So here, that's just playing around that shape. If we're here, I'm going to do a three into the 1. Right? I'm just going to land here no matter what. And I'm just stretching out, moving it out, going up to the 5, coming back down to the 3, just shuffling the notes around in different ways. Okay? Okay? So I went from resolving to this root note and then shuffling around the chords, knowing I'm going to land on this root note. Okay? The ear's going to hear that. It's just getting the kind of feel to and playability to kind of lead the line down to resolve, to hit that resolve. You want to target the 3, you want to target the 5, you want to resolve to the 1, to the root. Okay, so connecting it all is pretty easy at this point. If you're familiar with the chord shapes, okay, it's basically just playing. All I'm doing is playing the shapes here. I'm just playing through the shapes. Here's our 3. So I'm going to take it this shape. I'm going to play this shape into this shape. Okay? Okay, so I just came up to the 3, which we know. Here's our root. Here's the 3, we know that. So here's a 1, here's a 3 here, and this is the chord shape. I'm just playing the chord tones. 1, 3, 5, slide into the 1, up to the 3 now of this shape, and now we're in this land. Like now we're just play around there. Let's go up to this shape. So now we're here. Resolving to the root. Okay, so once you spend a lot of time getting familiar with that, getting familiar with what your root note is for whatever the chord is, this is where I've been trying to, like, again, not think about a scale at all, but just think about the chord I'm on, and then applying that options of knowing where the root is. That's it. Targeting that note, targeting my 3 and 5, and then resolving to the root, whatever chord I'm playing over the song. So to use an example, let's do Fire on the Mountain. It's pretty basic kind of 2-chord song. So if we were doing that in A, I guess we'll stay in A. So we're just basically the chords back and forth are A to G. So this is a great way to kind of like just play through and kind of target your notes. So what you're going to do is you're going to use the logic that you're going to use this method to target each chord. 1, the 3, the 5, 3, 5. When you're playing over the A, and then when you're playing over the G, you're just bringing all of that same basic information to that G shape. Same thing. And then walk back up to the A. Resolving to the root each time. So that's the kind of method I've been trying to get really smooth with as much as I can, you know. But just think about the chord I'm playing over and then the chord tones, and then just adding the chromatic, the half step slide in to the 3 and the 5, some chromaticism, always landing on the root, and then just applying that for each chord. So whatever chord I'm playing over, I'm just applying that logic to play. So the thing for me, what I'm trying to do is, like I said, don't think about scales. If you can strum through a song, like if we were just playing a song and I said, oh, just play that song, and you could play the open chords, whatever it is, whatever you play the chord, if you can strum the chord, if you think about it like this, you could play a lead over the chord. So there's no more guessing. There shouldn't be any really guessing as long as you know what the chord is that you're playing over. It kind of takes the guessing out of it. I mean, sure, there's options where you can play different chords, you play different or different scale tones against the chord. That gets, a little bit deeper, but for the most part, diatonically speaking, if you just target the chord notes of the chord that's playing, you're always going to be in the ballpark. You're always going to be playing the right note. You're not going to leave to question kind of where you are or find yourself noodling somewhere and the chord has changed and you're caught playing the wrong note. So I hope that helps. That's really been helping me and changing up my playing each day as I'm kind of tracking my progress. So I hope that makes sense to you, and I hope that can also help you with your playing as well. If you like this lesson, I'll try and do more if I get good response from it. And just hit subscribe, and we can work on this together. Thanks.